Hi, guys, and welcome, guys and gals. My name is Michelle Seebeck. I am the product marketing manager at Progress Chef, and I'm pleased to be part of a multi-cloud architect demo because really it's going to improve your processes and make things a little bit easier. And we have a great talent today that's going to talk to you about it today. Akshay, the floor is yours. You're on mute.
As always, sorry for that. So thanks a lot, Michelle. Thanks a lot, Anila. So hello, everyone. My name is Akshay. I'm from technical product marketing team here in Chef. So in today's topic, as Michelle told, that we'll be covering Chef with multi-cloud setup. Now, however, we know that both the Chef and the cloud architecture are like very vast in nature. And going through each and every topic is a very challenging task and challenging as well as daunting in like 30 minutes of time. So keeping in mind, I'll be going through some of the basics of the setup so that we can get an understanding of the entire architecture or the big picture of what we are trying to achieve and get our hands dirty. So saying that, let's get started and go to my presentation. I'll be turning off my video just to save the bandwidth and my internet doesn't go off. So just a second. I'll be sharing my screen right now. Michelle, can you please confirm if you're able to see my screen?
You are golden.
Great. So in today's agenda, we'll cover briefly what the Chef Workstation is, as it's a very first step while working with any Chef tools. Next, we'll understand what multi-cloud is and why do we need it. Then we'll have a look at what Chef Inspect is and few of the resources, followed by a live demo. So what are the tools which you'll be using for a live demo session? The first one is Workstation. The second one is the cloud environment for obvious reasons. I'll be using AWS, Azure, and GCP because these three are the major cloud provider which most of the org are using as of now. Next is Chef Inspect and Automate UI. Chef Inspect is basically an open source framework for testing and auditing your application and infrastructure, whereas Automate UI is a dashboard where you can view your results and work upon them. I'll be covering a bit on Chef Inspect in my upcoming slides as well. So before we begin with the actual content, let's understand what multi-cloud is and why do we need it. So multi-cloud is what exactly it sounds like, the use of more than one cloud provider to run your applications, right? So organization can choose the best service from each cloud provider based on the cost or technical requirements, different geographical locations, availability, and many other factors. For example, if I may give, you as an organization may choose Google Cloud for your development and testing purpose, AWS for your disaster recovery, I can say, and Azure to run your business analytics data. That's how you use multi-cloud. Many of the org nowadays are adopting cloud solutioning or the hybrid model. Hybrid model, I mean to say, is they are both on the cloud provider and part of their infrastructure is on-prem as well, which they are managing by themselves on the physical servers, you can say. That's what basically multi-cloud is on a very high level. Next, we'll be looking into Chef Workstation. To get started with Chef on any platform, let it be a hybrid model, on-prem, cloud. The first thing which you need to do is install Chef Workstation. Previously, it was Chef DK, but it has been Chef DK is no more supported. Instead of that, we are using Workstation. The word itself is a self-explanatory, you can say, which is a location from where the users of Chef will do most of their work. Right now, my laptop is acting as a workstation. It's a collection of tools, you can say, that enables you to create, test, and upload the recipes. Chef Workstation supports multiple operating systems and versioning. It can be installed on Linux, Mac, Windows, anything you as you wish. So once you install the workstation based on your operating system, you can type in the command chef-v to check in the details of the install tool. In the screenshot below, which you're seeing right now, if I'm using Mac OS, if I give chef-v as a command, I get all the details of the tool which is installed. Two major things which we have to look in today for today's demo, which is the workstation version, the very first one, which is 22.1. That's the latest one. And Chef Inspect version, which is 4.52. Now, as we have understood what workstation is in my previous slide, we'll be also covering two other major terminologies. And in my workflow, this is a simple workflow which you can see, which involves only three of them: workstation, server, and the nodes. Next, let me explain what is server. A chef server is you can say it's a center of workstation and the nodes. So all the cookbooks, recipes, metadata, which you write on your laptop or your workstation are pushed to servers using knife as a command. And the nodes, which you can see at the right, AWS, Azure, and GCP, communicate with this server using Chef client. So what are nodes basically? Nodes refer to the machine that are managed or configured by the Chef server. Now, it can be any device which has an IP and it can be publicly accessible, can act as a node to the server. The only thing is that it needs to be attached to the server and it needs to be managed by the Chef server to work upon. So it can be any virtual device, physical server, or any other storage device. This is a simple workflow which I'm explaining here. I'm pretty sure there's like a lot of complicated things out there, but to understand what multi-cloud is, this is a simple workflow. Next coming is inspect, an inspect resource. So now let's say when you write any code, let it be Java code or in scripting code, anything, the first thing which we do is test it, right? Chef Inspect does the exactly same thing. It's used for compliance. So it's basically a important step which you'll be using in your workflow. It's like testing your code and looking at the results. Now, Inspect is an open source framework for testing and auditing your application and infrastructure. It works by comparing the actual state of your system to the desired state. Now, let's say if your actual state doesn't have any kind of service installed and your inspect code says that a particular package needs to be installed, it compares both of them and it gives out the result, which you can see on the screen. The Chef Inspect is basically written in a language called as Ruby. You don't need to know Ruby at an expert level. In fact, if you are a brand new to Chef and if you're learning Chef language, you are learning Ruby on the side. Certainly, if you have Ruby skills with you, it's an added advantage, right? You can use conditional statements like if else, else if, and add multiple logic to your code to work as per your solutioning. Now next coming is what are Chef Inspect resources. Resources within Inspect, I mean like there are over 500 resources as of now, half of which target the cloud providers. It's basically a category of things you can say on the target node you wish to examine, like a package or a bucket. In the screenshot which you're seeing right now, I have two of them. The first one says that to check whether the AWS S3 bucket exists and if it's public or not. The second one, whether the package Nginx has been installed on your server. So that's what Chef Inspect resource does. It's basically telling you, saying that it compares the actual state with the desired state of the system. Next, I'll be going through the exact same thing which I just explained in a demo session. Let me quickly go to my terminal for that. Okay, let me maximize it a bit. Okay. Michelle, can you please confirm if you're able to see my terminal?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah. So the first thing which I told you, you need to check the versioning part, whether the workstation has been installed or not. For that, I'll be using chef-v as a command. Now, as I said, I'm using Mac OS. This is my workstation, and this is my inspect. Right? Now, let me clear. So for this demo purpose, as we're using 3 clouds, I have kept ready Azure Cloud, like just not to waste time. And I'll be showing live demo of how to bootstrap, how to run the recipes on AWS and GCP, so that you can get understanding of what I'm trying to achieve and what is the output of that. Okay. So the first thing is I'll go to chef repo. Okay, sorry. I'll go to my home screen. Okay. Now let me. So if you can see, if I give the knife node list command, it basically tells that what are the nodes which are attached to the servers as of now. So if you can see, Azure Ubuntu, which I've already created, is ready and it's already attached to the server. Now, if I what if I want to do the same with AWS and GCP? So the first thing which you have to do is bootstrap the node, AWS and GCP node, and attach it to the server. And how do you do that? We have a command. Sorry, I have a commands ready with me, just not to waste time and type in everything. So this is the command to bootstrap thing. I'll explain you the command as well. So knife bootstrap basically attach the node to the server. So this is the IP, public IP of my AWS node. Let me get that IP. So this is the AWS home screen, which you can see. And if I take my IP of that AWS node, so this is my public IP, AWS Linux. I have created Ubuntu as all the 3 nodes, but you can create anything as per your solutioning. So let me rename it to AWS Ubuntu. You can name this as you want. You can, as per your naming convention, you can even name it as Akshay or anything else. But this part, EC2 user, is the node name which has already been created. If you can see here, if I click on connect, this is where you get your name of the node, Ubuntu, right? Now, if I go here back and if I give Ubuntu -sudo is access, and this is the key which is used to validate my node. It usually takes around 15 to 20 seconds to bootstrap a node and get it connected with the server. So let that happen. As always, it's taking a bit longer. Okay, let me quit it. What I'll do is I run the GCP node so that I can have an access at least. So this is my GCP node. The same thing applies again. My license key, my username, I'll rename it as GCP Ubuntu. And the public IP of my VM instance. This is my GCP UI. I have already created an Open2 instance. So if you can see, it started to bootstrap. It's creating a node, it's creating a client, and you can see some bunch of commands getting executed at the backend. Okay, that's it. Now, if I run knife node list, initially it was 1, which is Azure Ubuntu. Now you should see 2 of them. See, Azure Ubuntu and GCP Ubuntu. Now, as I told you in my earlier slides, we use something called as Automate UI itself. It's a dashboard where you can view your results. So if I go to my Automate dashboard, it's just a graphical interface of what you're executing on your terminal shell. Let me refresh my page. And if you can see, you have two of them, Azure Ubuntu and GCP. Azure Ubuntu was created 33 minutes ago, and this is just created right now. Right? Let me try once again with AWS. Maybe I did something wrong. Coming back to my EC2 instance. Remote. Okay, I don't know. For some reasons, it's not connecting. I think I need to restart my node for it to work. But I can show you a demo with GCP because we have that ready with us. Okay, so as your bootstrap, so if you can see, we have two of them, knife node list, Azure and Ubuntu. So the next thing which we have to do is, as per that workflow, we have to create the recipes and push it to the server. Now I have already created recipes for that. It's a very simple recipe. So if you can see, this is a recipe. It's basically telling us that if it's an EC2, if it's an AWS node, you need to install Nginx as a package and start it. If it's Google Cloud, you need to install Apache 2. And if it's Azure, you need to install HA proxy. That's it. That's the basic recipe which tells us that based on your cloud provider, you need to install certain packages. Now, we saw the recipes, right? Now, the next thing which we need to see is we need to also look at the compliance part. So let me go to compliance folder. Now, this basically tells us that to check whether the Nginx package has been installed or not, or both Apache as well as HA proxy, and whether it's listing on port 80. That's it. It's a very simple compliance space where it tells us that whether the port, whether the package has been installed or not properly on your node. So I have my recipes ready. I have my workstation ready, server ready, as well as node ready now. The next thing is, as per the workflow, you need to push your cookbooks to the server. And how do you do that? Using a command knife upload cookbook and the cookbook name. My cookbook name is file test. So what I'm doing is I'm uploading the cookbook, which includes the recipes. Sorry. I need to come out of it. And it includes the recipes as well as your compliance folder and get pushed to the server. That's what the command does. Now we have the node ready. We have the cookbooks ready, which are stored in the server. We have the workstation ready. The only thing is which we need to do is log into the machine, remote machine, and check whether the recipes which are pushed to the servers are getting applied or not. So let me go. I'll open a new terminal just for the sake of it. Okay. Let me change the color so that we can distinguish it better. And let me log into my GCP because we have bootstrapped the GCP node, right? So this should be the IP of it. This is the IP. Okay, so what we can do is we can directly log in from SSH. So Google has an option to directly log into your machine, which virtual machine, which has been created through the console, through the browser itself. Uh, just a second till it establishes the connection. Yep, we are into the machine right now. Now, if the next important thing which we need to do is attach the recipes which are created by in your workstation to the node which has to the Google node. And for the command for that is just a second. This is the command, which basically you need to do that from Workstation, which basically tells us that Runlist is basically adding a recipe to your attaching your recipes to your node. So this is my node name, which is GCP Ubuntu, and the recipe is file test. Basically, file test is my cookbook itself. But if you want to give out a specific recipes, I mean to say that, let's say if you have multiple recipes in your cookbook, and if you want to apply only one specific recipe to your node, you can do that with help of example. You can do this way. So only example recipes get applied to this particular GCP node. But I don't want that. I want the entire cookbook to get applied, and I give this. You can see this particular recipe has been attached to GCP Ubuntu node. Now, if I go back to my GCP console, and if I give sudo chef client, it pulls the recipes from the server, and it starts to execute each and every command. It might take, let's say, 30 seconds of the time to get the package Apache 2 installed on that particular service itself. So let's wait for it. You can do this from Workstation as well using chef run command. But for that, you need to give out the right path to the right path of the recipes in the command itself, so that the terminal or the node gets to know where to go inside your workstation and pull out the recipes from. So you can do it both ways. You can either log into the Google Cloud manually, or you can do it from Workstation as well.
Hey, Akshay, I have a question actually, it's from Aussie. He wants to know, when you bootstrap, do you need to specify the client chef version to run against that node?
No, not really. It's not mandatory that you need to have a client inspect client version, nothing of that sort. It's not a mandatory step.
How is that good, Aussie? Does that help you? Thank you.
So if you can see, I'll just maximize it. Can I do that? Yes, I can do. So if you can see, the package has been installed from my recipe. Apache has been installed, and it's good to go. How do you confirm that? Let me go to that IP itself. Let me open a new thing, and I should see an Apache homepage running. So this is, I mean to say that the GCP node has been configured based on your recipes. And one more thing which I wanted to show you is the compliance part. The compliance which I just explained you in spec, basically you're testing whether the Apache 2 has been installed or not, and the port AC is listening or not, right? That's how you verify it. Let me do for Azure as well, which is already running. Oh, okay, I already run it. I did the same thing, sudo chef client. It basically tells that the particular package HA proxy has been installed or not. That's for Azure. Now, I did it manually by logging into each and every node and running this command. Now, what if I want to check the same thing from my workstation? You can do that as well. So let me go to the cookbooks. 1 second. Let me go to compliance phase, profile phase. Okay. Now, if I want to see whether the sorry, oh, if I want to see the results from my workstation itself, how can I do that? With the help of inspect exec command. This command basically tells us that to log into the node with the help of SSH command. And okay, I need to give the IP here. So I give my IP. So basically what it's doing is it's logging from the workstation itself, it's logging into that remote node and it's checking whether the package has been installed or not. So let's give it like, let's say for 10 to 15 seconds. If you can see, you can get the results here itself on a workstation. Instead of going and manually logging into each and every node, you can get it from your workstation itself. So here you can see Apache 2 has been installed and the port 80 is expected to be listening. That's how you check. One more thing which I wanted to show you. I'm really sorry we are running out of time. I can quickly show you. Okay. Now, if I want, I have already created and made my S3 bucket as public. I can show you here. Let me bring that tab. So if you can see, my AWS multi is the bucket which I have created and it's public here. So if you want to check that using your workstation, you can do that as well. Let me go to my command again. Inspect. And now let me mandatorily give, let me give a wrong bucket name, AWS multi-cloud test. It should throw an error saying that you can't see a bucket name or if it's not public. I don't know whether this name exists or not, but at least it should show that it's not public. Yep, I'm right. So you can see that you get a red result saying that 2 failures and the bucket is not existed and it's not public. So let me run it again with the real name. Please make sure that it's case sensitive. You need to be, it should match exactly of what the bucket name is. And now it should pass. You should see a green result saying that the bucket exists and it has been made public. Okay, something went wrong again. Sorry for that. Yep, now you can see the results have been passed. We have a S3 bucket by name AWS multi, and my AWS multi is public. So that's how you check whether a particular package has been installed on the node. Because Chef architecture entirely works on the pull model and not on a push model. So you push the recipes to your servers and your nodes will pull the recipes from the server. It's like push and pull mechanism. That's basically it. So let me go back to my presentation again. So please let me know if you have any queries with respect to the presentation. You can play around with it a lot. Yeah, Michelle.
No, I'm just available to make sure that we get
okay. So let me turn the slideshow on.
And I don't see any questions at this point other than that one that we answered. I also put those resources in the live chat so that you guys can see those. Oh, this recording absolutely will be available after the session. So anonymous attendee, you have that privilege and that right of another free resource to look at this at your leisure.
Great. One more thing which I wanted to also make a note here is, now let's say if you are working on a node and if you have a doubt or if something is not working as per the plan or as per your solutioning, You can always visit our discourse chef.io site and post your question there, or read from multiple questions which are already been posted. Someone like us, I have posted a lot of questions when I was new. So you can get an answer here from experts. You can read through FAQs. You can read through some great, amazing blogs, and also get to know about the new releases which are coming up in the market with respect to Workstation, with respect to Inspect, everything. You can get the idea of the entire thing in this particular site. So I guess that's it, Michelle, from my side.
Any other questions? And I appreciate all of your time, and seriously, those that we have, those resources are all free and available to you. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to build better products and better solutions. And if you have any topics or suggestions for the future that you're interested in hearing, please drop us a note. We'll be more than happy to help it. I'll put my email address into the chat as well. I think that's it. All right, Akshay, thank you so much for your time. You know what? And to reiterate, that webinar will be on demand at no charge at chef.io /webinars. And we'd be more than happy, again, if there's a topic that you'd like, we could be more than happy to create a webinar or even talk one-on-one to make sure that you're all good.
Thanks a lot, Michelle. Thanks a lot, everyone, for attending the session. And please let us know if you want anything else. If you want more advanced topic on this particular node, we'll be happy to help you out on that.
All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.